Substance abuse and dependence are common psychological problems in modern society. Most psychologists define substance abuse as a pattern of drug use that results in legal and interpersonal problems, and that causes people to subject themselves to risky situations. More than half of Americans have used an illegal drug, and more than a quarter of all Americans have a history of substance abuse or dependence. In the following interview, Bobby, a 31-year-old woman, describes her efforts to overcome a long-term pattern of substance abuse. She describes the progression of events that led from the use of alcohol and marijuana to her long-term abuse of cocaine, LSD, and heroin.
It started out with smoking cigarettes at 12. It went from cigarettes to marijuana at 13, and then it went to alcohol. I was basically drinking every day at 14. Vodka. I mean, my God, that's so young. At 15, it was still smoking pot, cigarettes, and alcohol. And then when I ended up in Portland, well, actually, when I ran away from home, I experimented with cocaine, snorting it, and then acid, LSD, at 16, and pills in speed form, like they called them robin eggs and cross tops and black beauties. I started popping pills. It was just that progression. And then when I ended up in Portland, I was drunk. Somebody said, let's try some crank. And I talked the person into sticking the needle in my arm. And then quickly after that, I learned how to do it. I actually had a lot of people doing it for me. Gosh, adults. My mom had introduced me to heroin. I had a mouth infection and from my teeth. I've always had bad teeth. At a young age, I had bad teeth. And I had an infection in my mouth, and she let me chew on some cottons, of heroin cottons, and God, it took the pain away. And so I figured pain, emotional pain, heroin. I did crank for a long time, to the point where I was psychotic, staying up for weeks at a time, not eating for weeks at a time. It really does a doozy on your body. But heroin, I could think on it. I wasn't paranoid on it. It took the pain away. Even the physical pain and the emotional pain, it kind of numbed me. And so I became very interested in heroin, regardless of being sick on it all the time. If I didn't have it, I was very sick. At 20 years old, I was a heroin addict, doing 2.5 grams of heroin a day and about 1 gram of cocaine a day. I could not use my arms anymore because of my veins were gone, so I was using my neck in order to shoot in this vein in my neck. And at that time I was working the streets in Portland. I was gone. My life was consumed of addiction to heroin and prostitution. I worked the streets, it seemed like 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'd be walking the streets at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how, even today, why I'm alive. Sex goes with drugs out there on the streets. And my morals, my values, my self-esteem were gone. So it enabled me to stick a needle in my arm, to stick a needle in my neck, to lay down on my back for people I didn't know. And I end up getting all kinds of diseases. Everything I've had, every disease except for syphilis, including HIV. And I look at that today and it breaks my heart because I don't, that's not who I want it to be. I'm kind of like a robot when I talk about this because that's what I felt like. I was a robot just get up in the morning, hit the streets, find somebody that wanted to have sex with me, get paid for it, go back, put a needle in my neck, go right back out there, keep working. It was like a constant daily thing. Eat once in a while. Most of my appetite was made up of sugar. I mean, because when you're on heroin, that's all you really crave is your sugar. I mean, I remember bags and bags of candy. But it's, I mean, it makes me all sick to my stomach to remember that, of what I was doing to myself. I mean, I have scars on my body still today from drug use. I mean, horrible. My son asked me, "What's that from, Mommy?" And it's like, how do you tell a 5-year-old what that is? I say, a kitty scratched me. When he gets older, he'll be able to ask me questions and I'll answer them. But today he can't understand that.
Although Bobby has been drug-free for 2 years, she acknowledges that she is an addict, and even admits that she sometimes misses the euphoria of drug usage. Still, she is determined to create a new life for herself. Bobby has participated in detoxification treatment programs and is currently part of a therapeutic community that is helping her establish an identity independent of drugs.